The Lord be with you. A reading of the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At the sight of the crowds, Jesus' heart was moved with pity for them, because they were troubled and abandoned, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest." Then he summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits, to drive them out and to cure every disease and every illness. The names of the 12 apostles are those: first, Simon, called Peter, his brother Andrew, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip, and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon from Canaan, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. Jesus sent out these 12 after instructing them this: "Do not go into pagan territory or enter a Samaritan town. Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, make this proclamation: the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, drive out demons. Whatever cost you have received, without cost you are to give." My brothers and sisters, the gospel of the Lord.
Jesus basically was moved with pity because the people were troubled and abandoned, like sheep without a shepherd. Like sheep without a shepherd. And so this is time for Jesus to begin the harvest. All right? Begin the harvest. Start bringing in the souls. And he knows there's a lot of people out there are just barely beginning to hear his message, believe in the God of Moses, and are, as he says, ripe for conversion. Ripe for conversion. Now, what do we mean by the term harvest here? Well, harvest is a time when the fruit is ready to be gathered, but not when it merely begins to grow. And Thomas Aquinas said on this gospel that harvest is spoken of when the fruit is ready for collection and fits the situation. Many were already disposed toward believing. And these are the sheep without the shepherd. The harvest is great, but the workers are few. And that's a problem. St. Augustine interprets the harvest as being among the Jewish people, since nothing had been sown among the Gentiles at that particular time. So Jesus, if you've been in business, or especially if you've been in sales, which I was kind of in sales at one point in time. I was also in market development, which market development was much more fun than actually doing sales, in my opinion. But when you're developing a new marketplace, and what's this new marketplace? People to come and follow Jesus to the kingdom, right? So you have to have a market development plan. And the easiest thing, the simplest thing to do, and we actually use this term, is go after the low-hanging fruit. Those that are about to adopt the product, but just need a little bit of leadership, be led into it. All right? That's the low-hanging fruit. But then what's even more important, the people that are harder to convince. Harder to convince. And if you want to build a solid marketplace, you need to go after those too. But he's sending out his apostles for the very first time and giving them special graces and powers to go and see how they do. It's a trial run, if you will. Because Jesus hasn't really gone into the difficult places yet. He hasn't gone to Samaria yet, but you know darn well that's where he's headed eventually. Because we hear about that all during the Easter season with the woman at the well. Samaria is a tough marketplace, if you will, for Jesus to spread his message. So he has to build the market, and they start with what? Those that may be the simplest to convert and to bring in. But it's not going to be easy overall. It's a challenge, because once you're out there and you get a message out there, what do you have to do? You have to sustain it. You have to sustain it, or else it'll just be, a fly-by-night, a passerby, just something that is there, but if there's no substance behind it, then people are going to walk away. What Jesus is trying to convince his apostles to do, and this is early on, is they have to go out there, learn the marketplace, learn who are the people that can help them to spread the good news of salvation that Jesus Christ offers. That's the challenge. And that challenge is up for each and every one of us. But it's no different today than it was in Jesus' time, because what's out there is great, but the number of laborers are few. And we need more and more people to become part of the harvest. Several years ago, Bishop Hubbard and Betsy Rowe Manning were all part of a committee to put together a process and a training program for lay individuals to help and do exactly that. Exactly that. And we had what was called the Formation for Ministry program. Now, many of the males that went into that also went into the diaconate eventually, but not all of them. But a lot of the people that graduated from that program, it wasn't a real heavy-duty college course type thing, but it was just an introduction of all the things about the church, so that once you began to serve within the church, you could speak with, like Jesus, some element of authority. Some element of authority. And, that program kind of went to the wayside mostly because of budget constraints, and some other program and other things. But I think it's up to the individuals now to learn for yourselves the best you can. Come forward, look and see what your skills are. Come forward and say, I have the ability to do this. Can I help the church with that? Whatever it might be. Because we do need more people. And it's just not to do simple functions. It's maybe to do something a little more complicated. Maybe to do some training, some catechesis amongst ourselves. It's nothing that's going to change or happen overnight. But I do think this is the time, right now, the beginning of ordinary time, where our goal in ordinary time is to do what? build the kingdom. And that's basically what it's all about. I mean, Easter, we have the death and resurrection, all right? And we learn about the early days of the church and the Acts of the Apostles. And then, of course, we have the Bread of Life discourse and many of these other things that are all about Jesus from the book of John. But it's Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and we're in the Matthew year this year, that really have the Gospels that focus on Jesus and his ministry and his building of the kingdom. And I say that each and every one of us has a responsibility to do that, to help build the kingdom. The kingdom is not necessarily about, put your name on a sign-up sheet. It's about coming forward and say, gee, Father, or Father Dan, or for me even, I have a skill about this, and maybe I can offer that in the church. Is there any place for me to offer that? Think about that, because, every week, Walt or Rit, whichever deacon we have, does what? They tell you to go forth and to build the kingdom of God. Spread the good news of the gospel. That's what it's all about. Time, talents, offering them up to God to benefit others in the church. It's real important. And we do have many, many people that do exactly that. Exactly that. But we'll always need more. We'll always need more. And some people are getting a little older. Maybe they can't do what they used to do. They need replacement. So think about it as we go through the building of the kingdom this summer, right up until the Feast of Christ the King, the end of the church year, all right? Because that's what it's about, building up the kingdom of God so that we can sustain and be there for the next generations.